Hi everybody, Louise Eddington here, Cosmic Owl Astrology, your cyberpunk witch, priestess to the stars, wisdom weaver, all those things. Anyway, I arrived back from a long vacation with my husband late on Saturday, and I'm really starting to get back into things. So I just really wanted to record this to kind of add to a lot more things about the energy of this week that I discovered while I was away. Because we were on a road trip, so I was reading and watching videos. And it's not so much about the astrology. I did a whole week ahead video, and on Substack, it's in written form. I also did a full moon video for the full moon on the 5th. So before I dive into what I want to talk about, though, I would say that I am live streaming on Wednesday, 11 a.m. Mountain here on YouTube. It's also going to go out on Facebook and other places too. And it's a launch party, basically. I've created a new website and kind of rebranded everything. And I'm so excited about it that I thought, let's make it a party. So I'm going to do as a kind of live stream launch party, and there's going to be a signed book giveaway and a couple of other things I want to talk about. But really, it's just to connect with everybody and talk about how my business and I have evolved through tuning into the astrology as well. So it's kind of got that astrology kind of energy with the paradigm shift that we're going through. So I hope you'll come and watch, join me, comment, things like that, because it's going to be fun. I'm going to play some music, probably pull a few cards, things like that. But let's talk about this week. So I'm not going to be sharing the screen. I have pulled some cards because this full moon is big anyway. It's in Taurus and Scorpio, and like I said, I've already kind of talked quite a lot about that. In the sign of values and power over and power from within and all things like that. There's a real with the moon in Taurus, it's a real invitation to get very rooted in your values and self-care and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to go on about the full moon anymore. I will say, though, it's kind of all tied in with astrologically. We've got Uranus moving back into Taurus as well, and and various other aspects. We've got this Mars opposing Uranus coming up that could be quite shocking, and we've got Mercury stationing to turn retrograde too, and we've got quite a few kind of things. But I'll talk more about the details of the astrology later. What I want to talk about today is how intense this week is going to be. And what's adding to the intensity of it is not just the full moon energy by any means. We have, sorry, I just wanted to look at something quickly. Yeah, that's all right then. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Comet, supposedly Atlas, and also the solar flares. Now, many of you, I think, probably also watch Stefan Burns on YouTube. He's pretty good. He can be a little bit, whoa, sensationalist for my liking. But, he's been posting a lot of updates about 3i Atlas. And the other day, he streamed 2 days ago, I'm recording this on November the 3rd, that after being hit with multiple powerful coronal mass ejections from the sun, leading up to its closest approach to the sun, he said its magnetic shield turned on and it accelerated its speed. It was already moving pretty fast. You know, I don't know how exactly he's getting all this information, because NASA has, because of the government shutdown happening at the moment, has stopped updating the Atlas page on their site. But you know, there's a lot of theories out there, so he at least is kind of really kind of focusing on the actual astronomy, and also he talks about the astrology too. But there's a few other things as well happening. Just let me get to my post. Apparently it's also changed color. Okay. It was first spotted on July 1st, 2025, using the Atlas Survey telescope in Chile. It was only the third confirmed interstellar object ever recorded. There was one in 2017 and one in 2019. And this article I'm looking at here, Euronews, said it sparked attention for its icy core enveloped by a coma, the luminous halo of gas and dust. Anyway, it's not gravitationally bound to the sun, which is really what comets are. And the speculation is that it's originated in another star system and wandered into ours by chance. Some people have said it was originated in a constellation called Sagittarius A, which is where the galactic center is. There's a few other theories about that, but you know, you can go and read all about that yourself if you like. But what's really kind of striking right now, okay, is that this, whatever it is, NASA have deemed it a comet, but it's not got usual comet-like behavior. It's actually driving by our solar system. It went within the orbit of Mars, and then has reached its closest point to the sun, which also means it's getting as close as it's going to us. And it shifted from a reddish hue to a deep blue color. And then Stephen Burns is also saying 2 days ago that its magnetic shield just turned on and it accelerated. All right. So it's Stefan, Stefan Burns, if you want to go and watch the whole video, because his streams are usually quite long. But he says it's awakened and fully charged, you know, it's quite dramatic, but it has got this big, you know, shift in its energy after being hit with these coronal mass ejections from the sun, which is what happens after big solar flares, and they were hitting Atlas away from us, if you like. Okay, so anyway, the other thing is that I want to mention is, and Stefano as well has been talking about that, but also I do follow spaceweather.com. Today, literally, we've just had an M3 solar flare, and there's a big coronal hole on the face of the sun, and the solar activity is going to really kind of heat up potentially. There's real, there was an M5 solar flare there apparently. So now this one hurtled the energy into space, probably again towards Atlas, but these big sunspots are moving to face the Earth as we move towards the full moon. So this is huge. So, you know, I'm doing my launch party on the day of the full moon. So, you know, I might even know more to talk about on that as well in the live stream. So the stream's not just to kind of just look at my website. It's to talk about other things, and I just felt like doing something fun. So we've had an M5 and an M3. They're not X-class flares yet, but there is potential for more flares, and as they emerge from behind the sun, the other side of the sun, these sunspots could bring us some big solar flares. And just collectively, we are still at solar maximum in general, and we're at lunar standstill or lunar maximum. The official peak of lunar standstill was back in March, but all year really. This is quite the year. Add into the fact we've got all these planets changing signs as well, and they're all speaking to each other, and there's a lot of finishing up with Neptune and Saturn back in Pisces, and Uranus about to move back into Taurus. I could go on, and it's almost impossible to talk about all the things that are happening. But this week, with this with the full moon, which is already a big full moon, and it's in earth and water, so moon is in an earth sign, the sun is in a water sign. There could be more deep flooding. We already saw as well Hurricane Melissa. I'll talk about that in a minute when I look at the cards, but and I will be talking about that hurricane and Jamaica when I present on series, Dwarf Planet, Personal Planet series on December the 13th for Kepler College. Anyway, I'm digressing. So all I wanted to say is that this is going to be a stormy week, energetically, probably physically. We already know that on full moons, energy is heightened. Solar flares bring more heightened energy as well. And then we've got this thing that we do not know, An Atlas. The Atlas myth is an interesting one. Most people kind of know quite a bit about Atlas, but Atlas was condemned to hold up the heavens for eternity. So, in the myth, if we want to look at that, he has the whole weight of the heavens on his shoulder, basically. But is said to be a symbol of strength and endurance, which is very much Taurus and Scorpio too. And I think we have to kind of be a bit open at this point in time, because we're going through this massive shift that we've never been through before, about what that means for us. Yes, I know there's a lot of theories about people thinking it's aliens coming and kinds of all things like that. Not my thing. But anyway, so I just wanted to really kind of check in, say hi, invite you to the live stream on Wednesday, 11 a.m. There is a small amount of room in the studio where I'll be hosting it for 12 people. If people want to come in live, I'll post the link below. First come, first serve, or you can just watch. I see the comments in the thing I use to stream to a few places. All right, so it's going to be a big week is basically what I'm saying. And Taurus at its essence is really, and with it being the moon, right, is really about getting rooted, getting kind of strong in your values, really tuning into what you need to do to step into your own personal power and let go of any of that power over paradigm, whether it's allowing power over yourself or whether you've exerted power over others that you cannot control, basically. But it's a lot. So I really want you to do your self-care. I really want you to, drink lots of water, eat well, sleep well as much as you can if the energy's out, do your walks, whatever your self-care is for you that really helps you to kind of stay centered and stay embodied. There will probably be an awful lot more in the news, and it's okay not to watch it all. And it's okay to do what you can to support others. I donated to the food banks as a whole through Swifties for Hope, because I'm a Taylor Swiftyite, and then I'm actually signed up for a 10k run on November the 27th on Thanksgiving, a sponsored 10k run. So I am going to be using my physicality, my body, to try and do something for things I have value about. Does that make sense? Let's go to the cards. But I've just realised as well that I did not turn the page for my lovely Frida calendar. It's all fuzzy there, but you can probably see it. Now, this also gives me kind of hope, actually, because this picture of Frida is very light and beautiful and earthy and naturey. And I think tuning into nature is going to be really important this week. Okay, cards. I pulled 3 cards, and here is the book, but I'm also going to pull a couple from the Witch Tarot because I just felt like getting on and going, hi, pull some cards. But these 3 were tuned in specifically to this week, and particularly the middle of the week, with this heightened energy. So the first card I pulled is Temperance. Okay. Now then, this is, I'm just going to get my book on tarot astrology. Bear with me. Most of you have seen this deck before, the Red Threads Tarot that I use, and it's based on Ariadne and Dionysus. But another deck I use by the same creator is the Red Seeds Tarot, which is all about Demeter, Persephone, and so on. And I use that one in my Venus retrograde class every time. I actually could not locate it quickly before I recovered this. So, you've got the red seeds. But the story is that in the Eleusinian mysteries and the mystery rites to the mother goddess, Ceres, Demeter, whatever you want to call her, the Melissae were kind of like priestesses, and they were the keepers of the bees. And so I found it really, really an astounding coincidence that Melissa was named Melissa. But I digress. So let's have a look at this card here. Temperance, first of all. And the reason why I wanted to get my deck out is I pulled it reversed. Okay. And I don't always look at the reverses, but this is be a caution, I think. Okay. Dogmatic views and uncompromising attitudes. This is a fixed sign, full moon, and with everything that's heightened and out there going on in the world, be wary of dogmatic views and uncompromising attitudes, and not being open to explore previously unknown energies and so on. Okay. So that's the message of Temperance, and I'm going to actually look at it in the book for this as well. But then the next card for this deck, the next card I pulled was actually the Two of Blades, which is the Two of Swords. Now, if you know the tarot, the swords or blades, they are usually pretty scary, but this one, they're usually better when when they're reversed. So building on the Three of Cups, this is actually one of the ones that is not. The twos are always choices, And this is saying that there's going to be inner anxiety, stress, and turmoil if you allow it. Okay, so, but I will read again from the deck itself, because these cards are pretty specific. But the last card I pulled for this midweek particularly is the Three of Cups. And this one is gatherings, friendship, family bonds, and 3 is a number of creation, okay? But this is also talking about you and your mind, body, spirit, about integrating all that. This is a Cancer card, and this week is a really good week to go into your shell somewhat. I'm not talking about burying your head in the sand, but you do not have to soak up all of what's happening out there. Stay local, stay within your little world, look after you and yours. There'll still be things to do later. All right, because it's a lot. It's really a lot this week. So, looking at the deck itself, the book, and this is I Am Unity. This is the dissolving of the opposites, creating non-duality. Okay. So if Jung said that if we hold the tension between two opposing forces for long enough, there would always emerge a third way, which could unite and transcend the two. And that's true of like you with other people, but also internally. Okay. Which is the message of it being reversed, I think, is really to kind of tune into that unity or balance, or balance your polyvagal nerve, things like that, coming into center in this wildness that's happening around you. All right. 2 of Blades in this book is I Am Disagreement. And so it's basically kind of saying what I said from my own book, The Complete Guide to Tarot and Astrology. But this is more internal disagreement, I think. There's so much new stuff happening. I think we've got a lot going in, kind of like these internal arguments and that anxiety, stress thing. So do your self-care. But this card in this deck is literally I Am Joy. And I'm going to say it again. I'm going to repeat the words of my friend Nora Herald, who says, operate from joy. Try and do everything with a joyful attitude. Whether you decide to go and donate to food banks or volunteer at food banks or sign up for a 10K or just spend time with your family, just operate from joy and do things that bring you joy, because there's limited amount to what you can actually do with all this crazy that's happening out in the world, right? Okay, so I want to pull a couple of cards. And have I lost the book? Nope, it's here. I'm still kind of recovering from the trip, but I really wanted to get on and just say hi. And just say, I did the full moon video already, but this week's turning out to be even bigger than I thought. So you can combine this with the actual full moon and the week ahead videos. Another M flare, by the way. Okay. Ooh, these are lovely cards. Okay. So the first card I pulled from the Witch, WITCH Oracle. That one was, well, yeah, obviously not meant to be there. It's by Angie Sullins, Woman in Total Control of Herself. And the first card I pulled is card number 8. I finally figured out how to navigate this book. This is Maiden Journey. And before I read the book, this really speaks to me, is that we are really on this maiden journey now. We have never been here before with this weird interstellar object that's going to have some impact energetically in some way, with solar maximum, lunar maximum, solar flares, all the things. Anyway, but this is a journeying moment. Whether you are on a spiritual quest, journeying into a new venture or relationship, or actually planning a trip, this moment encourages you to take stock of where you've been and where you are going. And I think this is the bigger journey this week. A witch knows that preparation is an important part of the journey. So if you're starting out, take care to gift yourself with the support you need. But a witch also knows that no matter how much she prepares, she will encounter twists and turns on every journey. So a sense of adventure, bravery, flexibility, humor, and a big picture perspective are the most vital tools. Okay. All right. So the next card. These cards are. Oh, I really love these cards. You know, sometimes I go like, do I do tarot or do I do this? It felt right to do both today. So the second card I've pulled for this incredibly intense week is the Madonna of self-compassion. All right. A witch understands that we are both Madonna and child within our own psyche, and our child is always ever seeking reassurance and compassionate encouragement. When we neglect to demonstrate the care towards our inner child, we are driven into the neglectful arms of those out there, trying in vain to find our belonging and support outside of us. As a result, our worthiness and well-being become dependent on our circumstances and other people. Now is the time to go within and ask your inner child what she needs. It's your attention she wants and your compassionate embrace. There we go. Okay, and now the last card. I'm not going to show you what that is till I've got to the page. This is the Judge. And these cards are a bit hard to see, unfortunately, with lights and things, but you can see it. She is the mistress of her own power and she lives in you. Now is the time to call on her. Her message is trust yourself. There is no source outside your sacred self that can make decisions or choices for you. Your feelings, convictions, experiences, and inner knowing are enough. The Judge asks you right now, who is the ultimate judge of your worth and well-being? Is it a spouse, your kids, a boss, a friend, a lover, a family member? Is it a project, a deadline, expectation, school, church, or organizations or governments? Is it an old belief, a handed down, outdated thought? Is it a society that demands your conformity? A witch knows that the ultimate authority is herself, and therefore she devotes a significant amount of energy listening, tending, and growing the relationship with that self. She is the ultimate judge, listening to all those voices, thoughts, and opinions in her head and in her circle of support, dismissing whatever insults her soul. Whatever insults her soul. Now is the time to consult the authority in you and allow yourself to embody her value. Don't shrink for others. You are a galaxy with stars hidden in your skin. Just know it's a lot. So listen to the message of those cards and just take care of yourself, and I'll see you on Wednesday when I do the live stream. I've also got my first live book um, um, signing at a bookstore on Thursday as well. That's exciting this week. But anyway, love you. See you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all the things. And if you want to be in the studio with me, look for the link. Bye.